My beloved child, I am the Almighty God, the one who is never late yet never moves ahead of the appointed time I have sovereignly set. And now, I am coming to you with holy urgency, for the time is no longer abundant. There remains only a fleeting moment, like the final hour before the wheel of destiny turns in a direction that cannot be reversed. This is the moment I need you fully awake, to see clearly what has been unfolding around you without being blinded any longer by the intricate deceptions that have long ensnared the unaware. You are not imagining any of this. The polite laughter, the superficial compliments, the seemingly warm glances, all are but layers of disguise worn by certain people around you. They appear pleased when you enter the room, but once the door closes behind you, their weary sighs reveal the truth. They once held your hand, spoke words of faith in you, expressed their support, but that was only when you remained within the realm of the familiar, when you were still small, when the light within you had not yet grown bright enough to discomfort the shadows they harbor. But now, everything has changed. I have led you through a season of silence. I have taught you in the dark, forged your spirit through silent tears and unseen pain. And now, the light I sowed deep within your soul is beginning to blaze. Your maturity can no longer be concealed. It is rising to the surface. And that reality threatens those who have long lived behind facades. It is not just jealousy, it is the feeling that their position is being shaken because of you. They cannot comprehend how someone once so quiet can now speak with such clarity and wisdom. They cannot understand how someone they once dismissed is now evidently marked with my heavenly favor. I tell you these things not to make you bitter or suspicious, but to free you from the guilt you've carried over the widening distance between you and them. It is not that you have become distant by choice. It is truth that has drawn the lines. When light enters, darkness must retreat. And as you begin to walk in authority, in revelation, in obedience to my will, those who preferred the version of you that stayed confined in old frameworks will find your presence unbearable. Beloved, understand this deeply. Not everyone can journey with you to where I am taking you. Some were meant only for a chapter, not the entire book. Some relationships were designed to serve a season, not to carry through your eternal assignment. And their departure now is not your fault. It is simply that they cannot resonate with the spiritual frequency you are now stepping into. You do not need to cling, nor do you owe anyone an explanation, for when I have ordained who belongs in your new path, everything else will naturally fall away. I know this brings pain. I see the disappointment in your eyes every time someone you once trusted turns away, falls silent, or speaks untruthfully about you. But hear me, my child. The loneliness of this season is not a punishment. It is a consecration. I am setting you apart from what no longer serves your purpose, so that you may hear me more clearly. I am stripping away every toxic tie, so that you may walk lighter and stronger. The favor upon you is not a comfortable ornament to all who see it. To those who live in comparison, it feels like judgment. To those who walk in deceit, it is a spotlight exposing what they hope to keep hidden, and so they will try to dim that light. Some will fabricate little stories. Others will sow seeds of doubt regarding your motives. There will be those who quietly scheme to push you out of the place where I have positioned you. But do not fear. Do not respond with flesh and blood. I am watching. I am weighing everything in the realm of the Spirit, and I am the one who never slumbers nor sleeps. No word spoken against you will last forever. I was born in a garden, and I am the one who never slumbers nor sleeps. No word spoken against you no false accusation will remain buried without being exposed by my hand. Your name was given by me. Your position was assigned by me. And no one can take away what I have appointed. If you continue to walk in obedience and keep your heart pure, you do not need to hang your head in shame. I am crowning you with victory. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. My presence within you is the loudest and most undeniable testimony. And one day, those who whispered behind your back about your unworthiness will be forced to acknowledge that it was I, the Lord Jehovah, who chose you, who called you, and who anointed you. They will have no excuse left to deny it, because the signs from heaven will be so unmistakable that no one will be able to ignore them. Now you must stand firm. You must guard your heart from wavering under the weight of slander. You must keep moving forward, even if it means walking alone, because you are in a sacred hour, an hour in which heaven is unlocking new doors, a moment when spiritual destinies are being redefined. Do not look back. Do not lose heart. I have prepared a reward for those who remain faithful to the end. And you, my child, are closer to the finish line than ever before. There is only 1 hour left, not according to earthly time, but in the divine timetable of heaven. 1 hour of shifting, 1 hour of shedding the old, 1 hour of confirmation spoken by my own mouth. And if you hold fast, if you cling to your faith, if you do not let your pain turn into bitterness, then you will witness a miracle. I will make those who once belittled you become witnesses to the glory I am placing upon your life, not so that you may boast, but so that they will know that I am the Lord, who can lift someone from the place of rejection to a place of honor, from slander to full restoration. Do you know why they feel uneasy? Because they sense the rising within you. They see the light that cannot be hidden growing brighter by the day. They can no longer deny that you have changed, not in the ordinary way, but in a transformation that comes from deep within your soul. A quiet yet powerful authority is radiating from the core of who you are, and it makes them restless. The peace within you unsettles them, the clarity in your gaze unnerves them, and the spiritual elevation I am leading you into is stirring jealousy and suspicion in their hearts. They do not speak it aloud. They do not openly oppose you, at least not yet. But I am revealing this to you so that you will not be caught off guard. They are holding counsel, not only in the physical realm, but also in the spiritual. Meetings are being formed. It could be casual conversations in cafes, or a friendly call filled with subtle undertones. They are preparing to say something, to write something, to release something into the atmosphere around you in hopes of shaking the faith I have planted in your heart. There is only 1 hour left, an hour not measured by ticking clocks, but by the pulse of what I am about to do. In that time, you must remain steadfast, because what they are about to do could disturb the order of your life if you do not cling to me. Lies may be whispered, coated in credibility, but behind it all lies fear. Fear that you will walk too far, rise too high, and move beyond their control. Fear that you will no longer need them. My beloved child, this is the moment when I need you to keep your heart pure and your spirit at peace more than ever before. Not so you can argue or fight back with words, but so you can hear my voice more clearly in the midst of chaos. Do not react in human ways. I will be the one who defends you. I am the one who sees the conversations held in the dark, who hears every whisper uttered in the most hidden corners, and I will not allow any of it to touch you without my permission. Do not be alarmed when something feels off. Do not ignore your spiritual sensitivity when the atmosphere turns strangely heavy. I have given you the gift of discernment, not for decoration, but for such a time as this. When you walk into a room and the air feels unusually quiet, take note. When someone avoids your gaze or smiles without their eyes, pay attention. When the connection with those who were once close suddenly feels distant, do not dismiss it as coincidence. Because even now, a decision is being formed. A plan is taking shape. Hands are writing. Tongues are choosing their words. Souls are being drawn into a silent war, calculated and hidden from view. And what I ask of you is not to stop them, but to take refuge in me. When the wind rises, the tree with deep roots does not need to shout. It simply stands firm. So must you. Do not lose your peace over whispers in the dark. Do not let arrows launched in secret discourage your heart. I am your shield. I am the one who protects your honor. And I am the one who will expose all things in my time. Do you know what pleases me? It's when you refuse to respond to deceit with bitterness. It's when you resist letting pain form a hardened shell around your heart. It's when you choose to trust me rather than try to control what is beyond your grasp. It's when you continue to walk forward with your head lifted and your heart free from resentment. I am not only training you to withstand trials, I am shaping you into a symbol of righteousness. Not a righteousness you earn, but one that I bestow. You need not fear when falsehoods are being broadcast. You need not rush to explain when someone misunderstands you. I will do what only I can do. I will overturn. I will uncover. I will restore. And the very words they speak behind your back, I will use them as the platform to display my glory. Nothing done in the dark will remain hidden from my light. No whisper of deception will withstand the presence of eternal truth. Every word you speak right now is being scrutinized, weighed, and in some cases remembered for purposes far from innocent. This is the hour I need you to step into spiritual alertness. Not to live in suspicion or fear, but to walk in wisdom forged by my Spirit. Remember, not everyone who listens to you has your well-being in mind. Some nods are hollow, born of pretense. Some agreements are crafted to extract information. Some embraces are not rooted in love, but in strategy. Therefore be silent, not with the silence of fear, but with the powerful stillness of one who has been taught by the Father of Heaven. Do not share your next move with anyone I have not led you to trust. Do not let your eagerness cause your lips to move too soon. What I am about to do in your life must be guarded, through discretion, through quiet prayer, and through the understanding that not everyone is meant to know everything. They are watching. They are waiting. Not to celebrate with you, but to find your weakness. Not to align with you, but to spot the gap they can exploit. Stay hidden in me. Let your roots go deeper, and let your silence speak louder than your defense. For I am the one who will thunder when the time is right. I am the one who will scatter the schemes with a breath. And I am the one who will lift you up, not just to be seen, but to reveal the brilliance of a heart that remains still in the hands of its maker. You must understand, my child, that there is a kind of person who will never confront you openly. They will not attack you with swords or spears, but with words. They will not throw stones, but they will plant seeds of doubt, and the most dangerous weapon is not the one that is obvious, but the one that is distorted. All they need is a fragment of information from your own lips, and they will twist it into a warped mirror, projecting a false version of who you are for others to believe. Do not give them that chance. Do not hand them the materials to build a narrative of darkness. Guard your loyalty. Guard your thoughts. Guard your mouth with wisdom and restraint. But my dear one, do not let this silence turn into isolation. I have not called you to live in seclusion. I do not desire for you to retreat into the shadows of your wounds. What I long for is that you would grow in spiritual discernment, knowing when to speak, with whom to share your heart, and when silence is needed to hear my voice more clearly. I want you to be silent before men, but loud in prayer. I want you to shut the door to those who seek to bring you down, but open wide the door of your soul to let my Spirit enter in, to heal, to teach, and to uphold you. Pour your heart out to me. Tell me every thought, every fear, every plan that stirs within your soul. I am your place of absolute safety. While the world demands that you perform, prove, and strive to be heard, I only ask you to be yourself. Honest, vulnerable if you must, even clumsy if need be. I do not require eloquent speeches. I desire truthfulness. And in that sacred communion, I will reveal to you mysteries deeper than any man can comprehend. They will become light for your path when the doors ahead still seem closed. This is the season for you to walk gently but firmly. Not a single step should be misplaced. Not a single word should be careless. Everything you do in this moment is no longer just a personal choice. It is the shaping of your destiny. For what I am about to open for you, whether a new assignment, a divine relationship, or a great mission, requires you to walk in holiness of thought, speech, and action. The enemy cannot touch you unless you open the door. Yet that door may be opened unintentionally through a seemingly harmless word. Therefore, be vigilant, my child. I know there are times when your heart longs to share, to find someone who understands, someone to confide in. I do not blame you for that longing. But I also want you to understand, your emotions are not the compass of truth. Sometimes, the person who seems easy to talk to is not truly trustworthy, and the one who seems distant might actually be the one I've appointed to stand guard over your destiny. Pray for spiritual eyes, so that you will not choose your companions by emotion alone, but by divine guidance. You cannot walk rightly into your calling if you keep handing your sacred details to those who were never appointed to keep them. This is not the time for arguments, nor the time to seek justice through words. Justice will come from me. Light will expose the darkness. You do not have to defend yourself. I will affirm you. I will stand for you. I will take what the enemy intended to destroy you and turn it into the very material that elevates you. But for that to happen, you must master the art of silence. In that silence, I will impart strategy. In that silence, I will strengthen you. And in that silence, I will move. I see you bracing yourself. I know how your heart is torn between the desire to be seen and the need to remain hidden. But my child, do not let emotions guide your path. Let me be your only guide. You do not need to run and tell anyone what you are about to do, or what you are about to do, or what you are thinking. Come to me instead. close the door, kneel down, and pour out your heart, through tears if necessary. I am listening, I am remembering, and I am moving in a way that no one can hinder, in a way no force of darkness can obstruct. You are not alone. Even if the world turns its back on you, even if the ones you trusted change their hearts, even if the atmosphere around you grows cold and is filled with watching eyes, remember this: there is a place that never changes. It is my heart. Run to it, daily, hourly. Make this covenant in your soul. Father, I will keep my plans hidden from the world, but I will speak everything to you. I will keep my lips sealed, but I will let my heart cry out unceasingly before your throne. Remember, victory does not always come from speaking what is right, but from knowing when to hold the truth quietly within. True wisdom is not in saying everything, but in discerning what should be shared, to whom, and at what time. Surrender to me the authority over your tongue, and you will never regret the words you did or didn't say. I am protecting you, not just from attacks on the outside, but also from unintentional errors within. And that protection begins with today's counsel. Remain silent before men, but raise your voice before me. For in prayer you will find victory. In silence you will preserve your destiny, and in me you will never lose your way. The Archangel Michael stands guard at the threshold of your destiny, not as a distant image from imagination, but as a true warrior who is defending the sacred path I, the Lord your God, have ordained since before time began. The gates of heaven do not open at random. Every step you are about to take is being safeguarded by him. He who has been fighting relentlessly in realms unseen by human eyes, even as you wrestle with confusion and bewilderment at all that has been exposed. Michael has already drawn his sword against the dark forces trying to slip into your life. Spirits of manipulation, voices of slander, temptations disguised as sweet words and fleeting emotions. They don't just seek to distract you. They seek to distort the image I placed within you when you were still in your mother's womb. The enemy has not ceased to send clouds of confusion, deception, and illusion. They whisper in the ears of others, painting false pictures of you, causing immature hearts to doubt the work I am doing. They exaggerate your past mistakes, invent stories out of silence, and craft a version of you even you do not recognize. But I, the God of truth and light, do not slumber in the face of distortion. I have commanded truth to rise like the dawn. I have spoken, and the fire of heaven has begun to consume every mask of deceit. I have poured out revelation, not to harm you, but to shatter the walls that have kept your soul in the fog, to expose what has been hiding in darkness for far too long. You are not called to live in silencing imposed by fear. Your voice carries spiritual weight that hell does not want you to discover. Your destiny, the great plan I have sown into your spirit, cannot be stolen if you walk in the wisdom I give. But that wisdom does not come from reacting quickly. It is not born from venting your pain to those who hurt you. No, my beloved, that wisdom comes when you know how to hide yourself in me. When you shut the door to emotion and open the gate of prayer. In the next 2 hours, you must choose stillness as your weapon. You may hear something, see something, or sense something that makes your blood boil, urging you to react, to expose, to retaliate. But restrain yourself. Let your flesh bow before the Holy Spirit. Let me be the one who reveals and handles it. Because if you open your mouth before you are anointed to speak, your words will come from your wounds. But if you remain silent under my guidance, I myself will silence the cries raised against you. My child, remember this. I do not need you to argue to preserve your honor. I do not need you to defend the truth. I am the truth. I am the one who restores honor, and I am also the one who will name those who set traps for you. Each one, not in the way you expect, but in a way that makes the spirit realm tremble. I do not merely expose, I cause the very schemes to collapse under the weight of truth itself. Those who once laid traps in secret will fall into the very pits they dug. Those who attacked in the shadows will be brought into the open by the brilliance of my light. You do not need to speak, you only need to prepare your heart. Prepare your heart as an altar and offer me your prayers. Not prayers of judgment upon others, but cries asking me to keep you from reacting wrongly. Offer me your weakness. Offer me the rising anger. Offer me every word you want to say, and I will return to you a peace that surpasses all understanding. You do not need to confront, because I will confront. All you need to do is step back, so that you do not stand in the way of the heavenly justice that is now in motion. You have entered a critical moment. This is no longer a matter between people. This is a battle between light and darkness, between the destiny I have ordained and the schemes of the enemy to destroy it. Every choice you make now does not only affect you, it affects the spiritual territory I have entrusted you to govern. If you react in the flesh, you will forfeit your position in the spiritual battlefield. But if you hold fast to faith, if you trust in me and cling to my words, you will see me move. Not quietly, but with glorious majesty. My child, when I say just prepare, I am not speaking of preparing for a war of words. I am speaking of the preparation of an inner warrior. One who knows how to stand firm in silence, who wears the armor of righteousness, who sharpens the sword of the Spirit with the promises I've given, and who walks slowly yet surely in my guidance. That preparation begins in the secret place, on your knees, in the sobs no one hears but me, in the tears that fall into my hands. It is in that place that I am pouring into you a strength beyond human measure. And when the appointed time comes, when the trumpet sounds in the Spirit, you will no longer tremble. You will no longer be manipulated by painful memories or poisoned words. You will rise, not to take revenge, but to testify to my glory. You will walk, not in anger, but in the power of restoration. You will speak, not to complain, but to declare, "The Lord is the judge, and He has defended me." Never forget this, my beloved. In my hands, no scheme can pierce through my covering. No accusation can touch the identity I have sealed upon your forehead. You do not fight alone. Michael does not stand guard ceremonially. He stands as a testimony that heaven surrounds you. And I, the one who began the good work in you, will not stop until I fulfill every word I have spoken over your life. My child, when light begins to shine into the hidden corners long cloaked in darkness, the shadows will rise in resistance, striving to maintain their grip. That is why, even as you prepare to step into the season of abundance and glory I have ordained, the enemy turns its gaze backward, toward your past. They rummage, they dig, they unearth fragments from days when you had not yet come to fully understand yourself, days marked by stumbles, by choices you later regretted, By moments of pain you buried deep beneath the dust of time. But they do not stop there. They tear these events from their true context, twist the truth through lenses of malice, and reassemble the pieces into a story you never lived, a distorted replica of who you are. They are building a false courtroom in the minds of others, a stage where you are misrepresented, judged, and condemned, not by justice, but by jealousy, envy, and the insecurity of souls who cannot bear the light I have placed upon you. Their goal is not merely to wound you, they want to stop you. They seek to freeze the momentum of your destiny. They want to sway the hearts of those with influence, those who are beginning to discern the calling upon your life, and turn them away through subtle, venomous doubt. My child, I declare to you, their plan shall not prosper. Even now, I, seated upon the throne of righteousness, proclaim the cancellation of every invisible verdict they attempt to construct in the spirit realm. I interrupt the current of accusation. I silence the voices of condemnation. I shatter the web of false narratives they so desperately try to weave. For I am the God of truth, and no lie can stand in the brilliance of my holy light. However, you must understand this. Though I move in the unseen, you must walk in wisdom in the seen. You must not move in panic, but in discernment. This is a season where your vigilance must not falter. Guard your spirit as a watchman stationed at the gates of the holy city by night. Do not allow rumors to steer you off course. Do not let nameless fears push you into rash decisions. Do not let your past, whether genuine or distorted, dictate your present reactions. Remember this: the past holds no authority to define you, for I am the one who has redeemed it. I do not deny the falls you've endured. Yet it was in those very places of failure that I planted the seeds of humility, of repentance, and of reliance on me. What you have overcome is not a stain, but a seal of grace. And you do not need to erase your past to stand firm. You only need to stand in the truth that I have forgiven, restored, and called you by a new name, a name that cannot be tainted by the whispers of the wicked. My child, when the forces of darkness cannot attack your present directly, they will seek to agitate your past. They will attempt to persuade others that you have not truly changed, that the life you now live is an act. But I have placed my seal upon your forehead, a mark the enemy cannot erase. I have set a holy seal upon your story, and no spirit may open it without my permission. So do not tremble when you hear whispers that someone is gathering evidence. Do not be shaken when you find your name pulled into malicious conversations. What they are doing does not surprise me. In truth, I saw it coming, and I have allowed it not to harm you, but to cleanse the spiritual atmosphere around you. I am letting the dust rise, so I may sweep it away all at once. I am permitting the slander, not to bring you disgrace, but so that I may be glorified when the truth comes to light, and all will see that it was I who preserved you. Do not respond with words. Do not fall into the trap of trying to explain. Do not let your voice become part of the chaos the enemy is trying to stir. You only need to keep your heart before me. Let every word that comes from your lips be a prayer. Let every thought be a whisper to heaven. Let me be your advocate, your representative, your righteous judge, and above all, examine your motives daily. The enemy cannot destroy your destiny from the outside if your inner being is guarded. Guard your heart against bitterness. Guard your soul against compromise. Guard your eyes from looking back at places I have already told you to walk away from. Because every time you stop to defend yourself, you slow down the pace on the path I am opening before you. My beloved child, let this truth be etched upon your soul. It does not matter who holds your past, because I am the one who holds your future. And your future shines brighter than any slander, stands taller than any former sin, and is firmer than any scheme to bring you down. Let your gaze reach beyond the shadows of today. Let your faith anchor in me, the one who is delivered, who is still at work, and who will continue to do what no one else can comprehend. Beloved, in this season more than ever, you must truly know how to discern my voice. Not every invitation is born out of sincerity. Not every meeting is a blessing in disguise. Some invitations are cloaked in smiles, but inside them lies a trap, waiting for you to step in. There are those who pretend to care, who ask questions and listen attentively. But their real intent is not to understand, not to love, not to walk with you. Their purpose is to gather, to distort, and to use what you share to craft a narrative that is entirely opposite from the truth. This is not a conversation for healing. It is a disguised trial under the pretense of seeking mutual understanding. And you owe no one your presence in a space where honor does not reside. You are not required to please anyone by nodding along, by saying yes out of obligation, or by maintaining civility when your soul is crying out that the space is unsafe. I have given you the right to say no. I have given you the freedom to delay. I have placed within you spiritual discernment, so you may know when to say no, without apology, without explanation, and without guilt. My child, you are never obligated to show up in a place I have not sent you to. Do not fear being misunderstood if you choose to withdraw from a certain meeting. Do not feel anxious about saying no, for even in your silence, I am at work. I am shielding you from stepping into atmospheres filled with spiritual snares, crafted by hands skilled in religious performance. You must believe that not every act of kindness flows from a pure heart. Some invitations sound courteous, but carry hidden agendas. Some eyes look at you with what seems like goodwill, but they are weighing every word, not to understand, but to find a weakness, to twist your meaning, to take your words out of context, and to present them elsewhere as a distorted version of the truth. They do not come to love, they come to manipulate. They do not sit with you to connect, they sit to entrap. These people use language as a weapon, smiles as masks, and listening as a calculated tactic. Do not let your tender heart be exploited. Do not step onto a battlefield dressed up as a peaceful table just because you long for peace. You must remain alert. You must be courageous enough to say no when the Holy Spirit inside you sounds the alarm. You do not need to be so gentle that you lose your covering. You do not need to be so kind that you offer yourself as a target to the backstabs already planned in secret. If something causes you to feel uncertain, take a step back. If a meeting stirs restlessness in your soul, postpone it. If your heart does not feel at peace, remain still. That is not cowardice, it is wisdom. It is obedience. It is how you guard the precious work I am doing within you. Because those individuals did not come to connect with you. They came to take hold of what I've given you and twist it until the truth is no longer recognizable. My child, in this moment you must guard your mouth as one would guard the gate to a treasure chamber. Not everyone is worthy of hearing the story you carry. Not everyone is pure enough to touch the holy things I am building in your heart. Do not cast sacred pearls before those who are ready to trample them into the mud. Do not allow the truths you've shared in sincerity to be turned into daggers that pierce you from behind. And when they begin to release their criticisms, their veiled accusations and schemes, do not receive them as truth. Reject them as you would reject a curse. Do not give their toxic words room to live in your mind. Do not repeat their demeaning phrases in your thoughts. For those words are not from me. They do not reflect who you are. They only reflect the jealousy hidden within them when they fabricate stories, when they attack, when they try to define you with venomous language. Remember this: only I have the authority to name you, and that name is chosen, loved, forgiven, commissioned. Let me be the only one allowed to judge you. Do not let your heart be shaken by the empty words of mouths that have never bowed in prayer. Do not let your soul grow numb from voices that do not represent me. In every mocking remark, learn to stand firm. In every wound, learn to let me heal. And in every misunderstanding, choose to let me be your vindication. My child, the enemy is not afraid of your past. They tremble because of the future you are stepping into. That is why they are doing everything in their power to make you doubt yourself, to make you retreat, or to lure you into unnecessary battles. Battles where you feel the need to explain, to defend, to reason with people who never truly listened in the first place. But I say to you, you don't need to do any of that, because I am fighting on your behalf. I will cause their schemes to collapse under the weight of their own lies. I will open the eyes of those who have been misled by slander, so they may suddenly see the truth. I will grant you rest in the midst of the noise, and the very words they spoke to tear you down will become proof of the anointing I have placed upon your life. So, my child, if an appointment does not bring peace, do not hesitate to cancel it. If an invitation stirs anxiety in your heart, let it pass. If a glance unsettles your soul, close your eyes and turn to me in prayer. And if a negative word comes knocking, shut your heart like a fortress built upon truth. You were not created to please everyone. You were created to please me. And I am pleased when you choose wisdom over blindness. I delight in you when you remain in holiness rather than chase validation from those who do not understand you. And I am glorified when you walk boldly in the light, even when those around you try to construct their own narrative in the shadows. My beloved child, keep your heart in peace, for I am fully aware of every trap being silently laid around you. Not only through words, not only through false appointments, but even in the realms of provision and finances, the enemy is weaving schemes to entangle you, to lead you astray, and to shake your trust in my faithfulness. Another trap is being set, a scheme carefully crafted with the intention to cause you to stumble, not by accusation, but through the heavy burden of pressing needs and life's demands. There are those who by cunning tactics seek to obscure the door of blessing I am opening before you. They cannot block the light, so they attempt to cloud your vision. They lack the power to shut the gates of heaven, so they stage counterfeit situations to make you believe I have delayed. It may come in the form of a falsified report, a deceitful complaint, or a fabricated accusation sent with the sole aim of interrupting the flow of provision I am preparing for you. It could be an unjust administrative ruling, or a seemingly insignificant delay with long-lasting financial consequences. But remember this: I am not bound by procedures. I am not hindered by human seals. I am not subject to the systems of this world. They believe that by interfering with the material flow, they can exhaust you, worry you, disorient you, and cause you to step away from your spiritual calling. But they have forgotten one thing. I am the Lord of all things, the one who holds every source of provision in heaven and on earth. I am the God of all seasons. I can accelerate what has been delayed. I can shorten a journey that you thought would take a lifetime. I am not confined to anyone's schedule. I am the one who brings harvest in the middle of a barren desert. Therefore, do not let your heart be troubled when you hear that someone is trying to cut off your financial supply. Do not panic when you see unpaid bills, when expenses rise unexpectedly, or when subtle threats are delivered through emails, letters, or even gentle-sounding messages. See everything through spiritual eyes. For what is happening is not merely a financial battle. It is a confrontation between the divine destiny I am fulfilling and the demonic schemes seeking to divert it. But take heart, my child. No trap devised by human hands can stop my hand from moving. What they build in hopes of your downfall will prove useless. The very traps they've set will become the stage on which I reveal my greater glory. The opposition they assumed would succeed will become the very stepping stone I use to lift you to a higher place. You will not only be provided for, but you will overflow. You will not merely survive, but you will have enough to pour into others. You will not just step out of lack, but you will walk into the promised land. A place of provision from sources no one expected. I can reopen a door that was shut in the blink of an eye. I can replace a person standing in your way with someone I've prepared long ago. Someone who will favor you without even knowing why. I can position you in such a way that your enemies are forced to watch helplessly as blessings rain down like a flood, unstoppable. So, my dear child, do not put your hope in earthly funds. Do not lean on your salary, your bank accounts, or the approval of men. Rely on me. For my provision is not limited by currency exchange rates, banking systems, or the hands of those holding your paperwork. I can provide manna from heaven. I can command ravens to feed you, just as I did for my prophet Elijah. I can open streams from invisible places through an unexpected message, an anonymous gift, a sudden change in policy from those above you that no one can explain. That is how I move, so that all glory may be given to me alone. But my child, while I am working in the spiritual realm, guard your heart from anxiety. Do not let the fear of lack push you into compromise. Do not let impatience drive you to forge your own path when I am still preparing a far more glorious way. Trust in me, even when nothing seems clear. Choose spiritual stillness over hastily searching for a solution. For when you hold your peace, you are declaring to the depths of hell, I believe in the faithfulness of my God. And I promise you this: every delay that was deliberately crafted to keep you from approaching your destiny will be overturned by my hand. I will not only break apart their schemes, but I will also astonish them by causing you to keep moving forward, not in lack, but in multiplied abundance. I will restore what has been withheld. I will cause those who once filed claims against you to witness that your blessings come not from man, but from the Almighty Himself. And when the season of provision arrives, and I assure you, it is coming, you will know that nothing can stop a river when I am the source of its flow. Streams of blessing will pour forth, not because someone granted you favor, but because I have made my decision, not because you begged for help, but because you stood firm, not because they agreed, but because I opened the heavens over you. So, my beloved, when you hear that someone is conspiring to hinder you, do not fear. When you learn that a report is being drafted to delay your progress, do not grow weary. When the numbers don't appear in your favor, close your eyes and look through the lens of faith. Because your faith is the very foundation upon which I move, and right in the chasm of your helplessness I will place my mighty hand and lift you up, not merely to survive, but to live powerfully, abundantly, as one sent by the living God. Let them try. Let them submit, manipulate, and threaten. For every trap forged by human hands, if not permitted by me, will dissolve into dust. But you are different. You are built upon the rock, and no force, no scheme, no lie can shake what I have established over your life. For I, the one who reigns over time, matter, and provision, remain enthroned. And I have never relinquished my sovereignty over a single page of your life's story. My dear one, in this very moment, hidden forces are moving in unison with a single objective: to displace you from the position I have assigned you. A position that holds significance not only in the physical realm, but bears weight in the spiritual. It might be your place in the family, in your community, at work, or even within the sacred calling I myself have set you into. They may not say it outright, but their hearts have decided you do not deserve to be there. They veil their disdain with flattery laced with slander. They offer suggestions that seem reasonable but are in truth crafted to push you beyond your God-ordained boundary. They want to remove you from the anointed place, from the station I designated, from the space I have prepared to reveal my glory through your life. But be still in your heart and steadfast in your faith, for I am establishing you like a tree planted beside the river of life. Your roots are growing deep into the promised land, where the sacred current flows continually from my reservoir of blessing. And once I have planted, no one can uproot. No hand, no matter how clever, can disturb what I have formed by divine authority. No scheme, no matter how subtle, how veiled in benevolence, can shake the spiritual foundation I have embedded within you. Through every trial, every tear, and every prayer, whispered in the solitude, they may conspire in the shadows, they may whisper among themselves, they may gather in hushed meetings full of calculation and hidden motives, but, my child, I see it all. I know every scheme before it even takes shape in thought, and though they may forge weapons, whether in the form of words, documents, emotional manipulation, or calculated silence, none of these weapons will prosper against you. Not because you possess an extraordinary strength to resist, but because you are not alone. You are covered by me. You are surrounded by a host of heavenly armies, guarding the territory I have entrusted to your care. You belong to me, and that truth alone causes every other power to tremble. Not because your name resounds through the earth, but because my mark on your life echoes through the spirit realm. Wherever you go, darkness shudders. Not because you raise your voice, but because you carry the light I placed within your heart. And it is that light which unsettles them, that light which exposes the shadows they dwell in, compelling them to want to push you away from their midst. Do not be surprised, my child, when hearts change. Do not be disheartened when those who once walked beside you turn away. Do not be confused when the atmosphere around you becomes tense, even though you have done nothing wrong. This is because there is a shaking occurring in the spiritual realm, and you are standing at the intersection of heaven's will and hell's resistance. What is happening is not merely people pulling away or a change in seasons. This is a battle for territory, a battle for the ground I placed you upon. A battle to dislodge you from your position, not just a position of influence, but a foundation of purpose. Not just a role, but a gateway of destiny. But, my beloved, I am not a God who builds lightly, only to abandon when trials come. When I establish, I seal it with my breath, and no sword, no matter how sharp, can sever what I have bound by covenant. No indictment, no matter how official or powerful the hand that writes it, can erase your name from my divine blueprint. You are inscribed upon the palm of my hand, engraved on the eternal stone, and covered by unshakable promises. Look around you. You may see fewer faces. The seats next to you may sit empty. The voices that once defended you may now fall silent. But do not let these things deceive you into thinking that I have withdrawn. On the contrary, it is within this very silence that I am reinforcing your position with unseen foundations. I am deepening your roots. I am preparing you not only to withstand rejection, but to flourish, to bear fruit 100-fold in the very land where they thought you were cast out. And a day will come, not far from now, when you will look back at that very place, the place where they tried to push you away, and you will see that I not only kept you there, but lifted you up in their midst. I will prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies, not to shame them, but so they may see that everything I do flows from mercy and righteousness. And you, the one they plotted to tear down, will be called by a new name, not the one cast aside, but the one held by the hand of the Lord. So stand firm, my beloved. Do not tremble under scrutinizing eyes. Do not falter under whispered plots. Do not doubt the position I placed you in just because others do not affirm it. Your place was not given by them, so it cannot be taken by them. Your identity does not come from their mouths, so their judgment holds no eternal weight. Walk in confidence, breathe in peace, and live as one who knows that you are standing not by your own strength, but by unshakable grace. And finally, my child, do not stand firm for your sake alone. Stand for the generations that will come after you. Stand to prove that the righteous may be pressed, but never crushed, may be scorned, but never erased, may be cast aside by men, but never removed from the gaze of the Almighty. Because you belong to me, and that is not merely a truth, it is an unshakable power no one can undo. What you are enduring now is not merely a warning. It is the prelude to a divine preparation unlike anything you've known. I am not only calling you to avoid what is wrong, I am leading you through fire, through shadows, through the whispers of the enemy, to bring you to the place where blessings, crafted exclusively for you, await. The pressure you feel, the weight you carry, the isolation you experience, and the relentless battles that confront you, these are not signs of abandonment. They are proof that a shift in seasons is underway. Everything that is unfolding is precisely orchestrated in my sovereign design. Not a single detail is random. Not a single tear falls without me counting it. Understand this. The very tremors you feel are tools I'm using to make room for the new, for the fresh, for the unprecedented. The shaking is not meant to break you, but to break off what no longer belongs to your journey, so that all things incompatible with the coming glory may fall away. And yes, I know there are moments when it feels like you are losing everything. You wonder, why does it hurt so much? Why such betrayal? But can you not see that through every loss, I am removing what would block the greater blessings I've prepared? Blessings beyond what you ever imagined? The betrayal you face is not meaningless. The words spoken behind your back, the wounds inflicted by those you trusted, none of it escapes my sight or my hand. On the contrary, I am allowing it to unveil a deeper divine purpose. I am using even betrayal as a heavenly broom, sweeping away what is no longer in season. I let the masks fall, not to hurt you, but to liberate you from clinging to relationships built on pretense. Truth often cuts deep, but it is also the path that leads to true freedom. And believe me, I will not allow you to walk through all of this just to survive it. No, I am not the God who leads you into the wilderness only to leave you in the dust. I am the God who walks with you through the wilderness to bring you into the promised land. I let you go down into the pit so I may lift you out. Clearly, publicly, before the eyes of all who doubted you, despised you, or tried to bury your voice in silence. In the very place they tried to crush you, in the very spot where they conspired to humiliate you, I will cause you to rise, not in pride, but in a divine affirmation. You won't have to elevate yourself, for it will be my hand that places you in a higher place, and that place won't come by competition, nor by flattery, nor by human arrangement. It will come through faithfulness. Through the nights you wept in silence but kept praying, through the falls you endured yet still chose forgiveness, through the perseverance no one saw, and through the heart that never gave in, even as the winds blew hard against you. And child, it will not be long. I speak this truth to you. Those who once plotted to erase you, who chuckled at your breakdowns, who applauded every slander against you, they will be the ones who must watch as my hand lifts you to a height far beyond what their minds can grasp. They will not be able to explain it. They will not be able to interfere. They will not be able to do anything but watch, because what I am about to do cannot be debated. What I am about to build will be living proof of my power and my faithfulness. I will grant you a dignity that no one can take away. I will restore the voice you once lost. I will cause your tears to bear fruit, and every wound in your heart will become a stream that pours out life to others. There will come a day when you will rise, not with a heavy heart, but with the lightness of one who has been fully healed. You will declare, I was once forsaken, but God did not forsake me. I was once misunderstood, but He understood me. I was once pushed down, but it was He who lifted me up. And that testimony will shake even the coldest walls within the hearts of those who hear it. So do not give up when the pain reaches its peak. Do not collapse when the battle drains your last ounce of strength. Do not rush to a conclusion in the middle of the story, because right at the brink of what looks like ruin, I am writing the most glorious new chapter. A chapter where you will not only stand, you will walk with strength. A chapter where you will not only survive, you will soar. A chapter where you will not only be healed, you will become a vessel of healing for others. My beloved, if you could see what I am preparing behind the veil of your present reality, you would no longer weep. You would no longer tremble. You would no longer doubt. You would stand tall, breathe deeply, and move forward. Even if no one applauds, even if no one walks beside you, because you would know, I am going before you. I am waiting for you at the finish. And that destination is not mere survival, it is victory. The warning has been given not to instill fear, but to prepare you for a pivotal moment. You must not take this lightly. Do not dismiss it as a fleeting emotion. This is not paranoia born out of anxiety. This is prophecy. This is a divine strategy issued from the throne of heaven to guide you through a dangerous turn on your spiritual journey. You must stay awake. You must have vision that sees ahead and a heart that remains discerning. Move as one trained for battle, not with earthly weapons, but with heavenly wisdom. Be strategic, not in the calculations of the flesh, but in every obedient step under my direction. Every prayer you utter in this hour is not a mere groan. It is an arrow launched into the heart of darkness. Every moment you set aside to listen to me now is not just spiritual awareness. It is active participation in a heavenly battlefield where angels are awaiting your unity in order to intervene. I have spoken, and what I have spoken will not return void. Trust in the power of my word. When I say, do not ignore this message, it is because you are standing on the edge of a divine reversal. The enemy believes it can operate in silence, that it can plot, conspire, and align without exposure. But my light has already illuminated every corner of that scheme. I have seen the conversations that took place behind your back. I have heard every slander whispered in the dark. I have seen the schedules laid out, where they believed there would be agreement, judgment, and a subtle elimination of you. But I declare, that plan shall not succeed. The unity they thought they had achieved will unravel in an instant. Every false confidence they are clinging to will begin to tremble like sand beneath their feet. The meetings they are holding, whether formal in nature or informal in disguise, will descend into confusion. For I myself will step in. I will stir unrest in their hearts. I will disrupt their agreement. I will cause each one of them to feel unsure about the person sitting beside them. I will create distance between those who thought they shared the same agenda, until they can no longer discern the true path forward. You do not need to intervene with words. You do not need to appear in that meeting room. You do not need to send a response nor present a defense. All you need is obedience, complete obedience, obedience even when no one sees the battle you're fighting. Obedience that comes from hiding my word in your heart, like a sword kept sheathed, ready to be drawn at my command. Be still and watch what I am about to do. Within just 1 hour, yes, precisely 1 hour, you will begin to see the unraveling. Calls will be disrupted, decisions will be delayed. The ideas they once considered certain will suddenly become unclear, and none of them will understand why. That is because I, the Lord God of heaven's armies, have entered the battle. I do not stand idly by when you are under attack. I do not turn a blind eye when strategies are being crafted against you. You are the one I have anointed, the one I have refined in the furnace of affliction. the one I have preserved through countless tears shed in secret rooms, and I do not allow any force, whether human or demonic, to touch you without permission from my throne. My child, this is no longer the time to sit in waiting. This is the time to pray, not in complaint, but in authority. Rise in your spirit, declare the words I have spoken. Wage war in silence with your faith. Call truth by its name. Proclaim that no scheme can override the destiny I have set. Repeat my promises, not to remind me, but so that the spiritual realm knows you still believe. And while you do that, my angels are moving. Michael is not watching from the sidelines. He is moving through spiritual currents, severing the networks of the enemy, disrupting their lines of communication, silencing unspoken words, and intercepting reports before they are sent. Some things will be erased before they reach human eyes. Some accusations will be choked in the throats of the enemy. Some hands that were prepared to submit documents against you will tremble with confusion, unable to press send. For I, yes, I myself, am placing my hand on the scales and removing injustice from its seat. What you are carrying in your heart right now is not an ordinary message. It is a strategy from heaven. It is a divine mobilization order. It is a battle map for a new season, one in which I will not only protect you from attack, but lift you to a position no one can displace. And when all of this comes to pass, when you see each word I've spoken become reality, remember to offer me your thanksgiving, not because you were worthy, but because I am merciful. Not because you were wise enough, but because I went before you. Not because you won that meeting, but because I have never lost a battle when it comes to those I love. Archangel Michael, the warrior of light, the one sent by God to protect his consecrated children, now speaks with finality. Open your spiritual ears. Shake off the paralysis. Arise. This is not a gentle invitation. It is a divine command from heaven to the one who has stayed silent for too long, endured for too long, and yielded for too long in the midst of a spiritual storm when you should have stood up and declared, "Enough." You remained silent not because you were unaware, but because you once hoped that kindness would change hearts. You held on to the belief that if you loved enough, if you endured long enough, they would eventually see your sincerity. But, my child, silence prolonged while your soul is crying out is not obedience. It is spiritual paralysis disguised as humility. And now, through my angel, command you to awaken, to stand, to move in the light. You once entrusted your heart to those I never appointed to hold what was sacred within you. You opened your soul to people who were curious, but never truly sincere. You allowed them to step into the spiritual ground of your being, territory meant only for those anointed to walk alongside you. And in doing so, pieces of your soul were handled roughly, not with hands, but with words that were cold. With apathy veiled beneath a tender gaze, you endured it quietly. You closed your eyes to the clear signs I gave you. You called it forgiveness, but in truth, it was avoidance. You dismissed the dreams I sent in the night, those repeating visions, the strange imagery, the fragmented conversations brimming with hidden meaning. None of it was random. I was trying to awaken your spirit through what you could not hear in waking hours. Because in the daytime, You were too busy trying to keep the peace with everyone that you lost your spiritual alertness. But even when I entered your sleep, you brushed it off by morning, calling it just a weird dream, and let it fade into the noise of your to-do list. You've also felt that choking tightness in your chest, as if something wasn't right, not from the outside, but from deep within. It wasn't anxiety. It wasn't some nameless fear. It was a spiritual alarm, the divine alert system I'd built inside you to protect the treasures I'd planted in your heart. When your soul suddenly deflates mid-conversation, when you instinctively recoil at the mention of a name, when your body tenses and your heartbeat stutters upon stepping into a room. This is not oversensitivity. This is a spiritual bell, a warning sent directly from heaven to the sacred nerves of your spirit, and you've ignored it many times. Not because you were careless, but because you were too kind. You convinced yourself that you were judging others too quickly. You blamed yourself for those uncomfortable feelings. You forced yourself to accept awkward relationships and draining conversations simply because you feared hurting someone else. But child, your soul does not lie to you. When you surrendered your life to me, I installed a spiritual sensor in you that no man can manipulate, and when it rings, you must listen. Now I speak through Michael, the protector of my chosen ones, to declare it is time for you to pause and reevaluate everything. From those you've allowed into your life, to the places you've stepped into, to the seemingly harmless words that consistently leave your mind spinning, examine it all. Let me teach you discernment. Let me help you reclaim holiness in the territory of your soul, which has been silently invaded by things that do not come from me. I do not rebuke you for trusting. I know you acted out of pure intentions. But now is the time to grow in wisdom. For a pure heart, without discernment, becomes an easy target for manipulating spirits. You can no longer remain silent. You can no longer stand passively while a battle rages around you. You can no longer disguise exhaustion as humility or call confusion excellence. I did not create you to be ruled by the words of others. I did not position you here to be buried under the voices of those who do not understand your calling. You were created to walk in light, a light so radiant it causes the enemy to shield his face, a light that exposes every hidden agenda, and that light begins to shine when you choose to listen to me, not to your fleeting emotions. Now, I am calling you to rise. No more hanging your head low, no more nodding in agreement just to avoid conflict, no more silencing what must be spoken simply because you fear offending someone. When I say stand up, I am not merely speaking of posture. I am inviting you into your true role. The watchman, the discerner, the one who carries timely warnings, and the one to whom I will give vision no one else can see. Do not dismiss the signs I have sent as coincidence. Do not allow the stirrings in your spirit to be buried beneath the weight of logic. Let the spiritual life within you be reawakened. Open wide the door of your inner being, so that I may come in and wipe away the dust you've gathered from past wounds, and then step out. Not as a timid soul, but as a warrior fully awakened, as a gatekeeper who has heard the alarm bells, as a child who will no longer sit in silence while truth is twisted. My beloved, the time has come. Open your spiritual ears, rise up, be ready, for from this moment forward, you will no longer be a passive soul swept about by chaos. You will become a voice, a torch-bearer, the one who is called out of the shadows to live in the brilliance of the light I have prepared for you alone. My precious one, I am now drawing you into a deeper realm of awareness, not to frighten you, but to equip you. I will open your spiritual eyes to see the hidden motives behind eloquent words, behind actions that appear harmless but are soaked in calculation. I will bring you closer to divine light so that all darkness surrounding you will be unmasked, so that nothing may hide behind a facade in your presence, for you cannot confront what you cannot see. And I will not let you walk in confusion while the battle around you intensifies. I will show you the truth, not the kind of truth filtered through human emotion or illusion, but the kind of truth that comes from me, the truth that liberates, the truth that shatters even the most refined chains. I will expose the secret doors the enemy has used to infiltrate your life, the places you least expected, the paths they have moved through silently, gathering information, sowing confusion, and subtly manipulating the destiny I entrusted to you. But I will not merely expose. I will seal those doors shut with my own authority, and no power shall reopen them. I will grant you a new form of wisdom, not one born from books or past experience, but a piercing insight bestowed through my spirit. You will no longer be swayed by charming speech. You will no longer allow emotion to dictate your direction. You will immediately discern who was sent by me and who was sent to deceive. You will distinguish between false kindness and genuine love. And as you walk in this wisdom, every web the enemy has spun around you, false connections, emotional traps, subtle verbal strikes, and hidden agendas will begin to unravel. Not by your own strength, but through the precise, step-by-step guidance of my hand. My child, do not underestimate the intensity and persistence of the battle you are facing. This is not a mere misunderstanding. This is not coincidence. This is a real spiritual war, where the enemy's aim is not just to wound you, but to crush the destiny I have placed within you since before the foundations of the earth. You are a threat to the kingdom of darkness, not because of noise or visibility, but because you carry within you the light of truth. And as long as you step into the exact moment I have ordained, you will become a flame that cannot be extinguished, a voice the darkness can no longer ignore. The enemy knows it, it senses it, and it has acted by striking at your most vulnerable places. It doesn't attack your strength head-on. Instead, it circles around and knocks at the door of your trust, manipulates your emotions, twists the connections around you, and even uses those you love. But do not be afraid. Do not let your heart grow heavy, for I have foreseen all of it. I have not sat idly by, watching you fight alone. The very moment you feel most forsaken is the moment I am dispatching heavenly armies to surround you. And hear me clearly on this: they will fail. Not because you are wiser than they are, not because you are stronger, but because I, the Almighty God, have declared it. And when I speak, my word is like an iron peg driven into solid rock. Nothing can shake it. When I decree, all the spiritual realm must obey. Hell trembles. The gates of the underworld are stopped in their tracks. Every scheme currently being drawn up will vanish like smoke. Not just partially, but the entirety of their plans will collapse like a tower built on sand. And do you know why they cannot prevail? Because my angels, the ones I have specially appointed to war on your behalf, stand tall on your left and on your right. Michael did not come merely to observe. He came to shield. He did not arrive to remain silent on the sidelines. He came to fight to intercept, to sweep aside the venomous arrows launched toward you from unseen places. You may not see it, but you are surrounded. You may not be able to count them, but you are covered by a heavenly army that the world cannot comprehend. So lift your head high. Do not bow down in shame because of what they say about you. Do not close your heart because of gossip, suspicious glances, or mocking laughter behind your back. They do not know what you are carrying. They do not understand what you are being prepared for. They cannot perceive the covering I've placed over you. And they are powerless against a destiny that has been sealed with the very breath of the Creator. As you move forward, walk cautiously, but do not tremble. Observe carefully, but do not panic. For I will continue to unveil. I will continue to strip away the layers of deception. I will show you the truth behind the relationships. I will reveal to you who stands with you and who only stands close to monitor. Not so that you may walk in suspicion, but so that you may walk in protection. I do not want your soul to be wounded again by counterfeit handshakes. I do not want you to waste another moment on things I never assigned. And remember this: every defeat of the enemy is a song of triumph for you. Every time their plan crumbles is proof that you are standing in the right place. And soon, those who once silently wished for your downfall will have to witness your rising, not by your own might, but by my hand. You will not merely survive, you will ascend. You will be restored. You will be vindicated publicly, and my name will be glorified through your very life. My beloved, now is the time for you to be more discerning than ever before. Not just with natural eyes, but with the spiritual sight I have planted deep within you. This is not an ordinary phase. This is a sacred season of testing, where every small decision, every step you take, every fleeting thought carries the weight of destiny. You cannot walk through this time carelessly. You cannot afford to live by passing emotions. You must not let your mind drift toward invitations that appear harmless on the outside, but are laced with manipulation and hidden strategies of destruction within. I say to you, guard your spirit as a gatekeeper guards the walls of a city. Shut every door that leads to distraction. Do not let unnecessary conversations consume the time meant for prayer. Do not allow the doubtful information from the world to block the holy flow I am pouring into your soul. Some things may sound true, but they are not from me. Some opportunities may appear to be open doors, yet in reality they are sweetly crafted traps designed to divert you from your path. Therefore, ask me for discernment. Cleanse your heart daily. Keep the door of your spirit alert and locked against anything that does not come from me. If something stirs unease in your soul, a meeting, an invitation, a phone call, or even a single message, do not take it lightly. Do not sacrifice your inner peace in the name of politeness. Do not trade your spiritual safety for the sake of not offending someone. Do not let the fear of disappointing others cause you to lose the protection I am building around you in this hour. If something does not bring clarity, if it arrives wrapped in a sense of vagueness, heaviness, or lingering suspicion in your chest, trust that I am trying to warn you. That is no coincidence. It is a divine alarm I have embedded within you, like an internal bell that rings when danger draws near. Be intentional in cutting off the cords that distract you. Whether it's a person, a habit, a mindset, or an activity you know is pulling you away from the center of my will, have the courage to release it. Some relationships were not meant to help you move forward, but to veer you off course. Some plans may seem full of potential, yet they lack the confirmation of heaven. Do not fear canceling something just because you've already started it. I never require you to sustain what I did not instruct you to begin. You are standing in a zone of spiritual testing. This is not just a place where I observe how you respond to attacks. It is also where I watch to see whether you remain faithful in the smallest things. I am testing your steadfastness, your discernment, and your trust in the guidance of the Holy Spirit. Everything happening right now is a test that precedes a greater elevation. If you remain steadfast, if you are not distracted by the voices around you, if you choose obedience over reacting in the flesh, then I promise you, what the enemy has worked so hard to use for your destruction will become the very foundation for your promotion. I will turn the place where they sought to bury your dreams into the launching pad for your rise. I will make their slander the very catalyst for your public restoration. I will transform secret plots into proof of my righteous protection. No arrow, no matter how carefully poisoned, can penetrate the shield of faith if you remain in me. But you must choose to stay near. You must choose to stay connected to me every day, every hour. You must choose to pray as you breathe, unceasingly, uninterruptedly, not based on fleeting emotion. Prayer is not merely a way to ask for blessings. Prayer is connection. It is the cord that holds you inside the holy perimeter when everything around you begins to shake. When you pray, I build a hedge around your soul. When you pray, angels are released to make a way, to shut wrong doors, to slow the steps that should never draw near to you. When you pray, your soul comes into rhythm with the heartbeat of heaven, and no counterfeit voice can break through. Do not wait until danger strikes to cry out. Do not wait until your soul feels empty to seek me. Stay near to me in the small things. Every word you speak, every decision you make, every relationship you engage in, every step you take toward change. Because some losses don't come like a storm. They arrive like a gentle drift. If you allow yourself to slip just a little each day from my presence, if you begin to ignore the soft whisper of my spirit, it won't be long before you find yourself in a place I never sent you. And when that happens, it will not be the enemy who destroys you. It will be your own neglect that leads you there. But I have not allowed it to happen. I am calling you back, not with reproach, but with mercy. I am inviting you to hold tightly to what I am revealing. I am reminding you that if you keep your heart upright, your spirit tender, and your eyes fixed upon me, nothing can defeat you. Even if the enemy conspires, even if hell trembles, even if people misunderstand, you who are in me, who are covered by me, shall never be destroyed. My child, stay close to me, closer still. Do not let anyone or anything come between you and me. Return to the secret place where it is just you and me, where you speak the words you have long silenced, where you cry the tears that no one else can understand, where you surrender and are simultaneously healed. In that place, you will be restored, purified, equipped, upheld, and prepared. And then, when the time comes, when I declare the hour has arrived, you will not emerge as a mere survivor, but as one who is sent, carrying fire, bearing light, and moving in a power birthed in the hidden place that no one can imitate. So, my child, guard your spirit. Let go of what disturbs your peace. Reject what does not carry my presence. Cancel what does not come from me. and pray without ceasing, for in that prayer I am building a fortress, and within that fortress your destiny is being held in absolute safety in my hands. Now, offer me your sincere prayer. You may pray something like this: Lord, the one who calls me to rise in the midst of chaos, I bow before your holiness. I do not wish to live one more day in numbing silence. Please open my spiritual ears so I may hear your voice above the clamor of deception. Strip away every false layer of self-defense, every excuse I've clung to that allowed me to endure things never sent by you. Father, if I have ever ignored the warning bells from heaven, please forgive me. I now yield. Train me again in divine wisdom. Awaken me, not just with reason, but with a soul ablaze in holy discernment. Lord, I clearly sense the looks that lack truth, the smiles that are void of love, and the invitations cloaked in counterfeit goodwill. Please grant me spiritual eyes to discern who is sent by you and who is sent by the enemy. Let my heart be at peace enough to say no without guilt, and courageous enough to walk away from meetings that the Holy Spirit does not approve. I do not want to surrender my soul as a prize to the manipulators. Cloak me in divine protection, and place the Archangel Michael at the gates of my destiny, that no one may touch me apart from your will. Lord, teach me to guard my mouth with holy restraint. Teach me the sacred art of silence as a spiritual weapon, not to hide weakness, but to preserve what you are accomplishing within me. Let every moment of silence become an invisible declaration of war in the realm of the Spirit. I choose to step back so you can step forward. I choose to remain still so you may move with unstoppable power. Righteous God, I do not deny the pain of knowing that I am being misrepresented, judged by those who once held my hand, yet I will not speak with bitterness. I place my honor in your hands, you who have called me by a new name. Please protect my reputation from false accusations. Comfort me when familiar faces suddenly grow distant. Keep my heart from desiring vengeance or harboring silent resentment. Help me believe that you will cause truth to shine brightly, and that all distortion will be corrected by your hand. Lord, you are the one who is leading me through a land filled with snares and shadows. I pray that I may not react out of emotion. When words of attack and provocation come my way, remind me that I have nothing to prove. My only duty is to stand firm in the affirmation that comes from you alone. Subdue the anger within me and replace it with trust in the righteous judgment of heaven. Make me a person who knows how to choose silence at the right moment, one who speaks only by the prompting of the Holy Spirit and not from the wounds of the soul. Soften my heart beneath your hand, yet make me as steadfast as stone before the opinions of man. Lord, when the enemy tries to block the flow of blessing by striking my finances, my work, or even my emotional stability, please do not let me fall into fear. Guard my heart from trembling in the face of misleading reports, subtle threats, or seemingly senseless delays. I declare this day, my provision does not come from man. It flows from the very throne of heaven. Grant me faith that sees beyond numbers. Preserve my heart from compromising under the pressure of unmet needs. Lead me through the wilderness and into the promised land, not with hands full of fear, but with hands overflowing in blessing. O Jehovah, the one who has appointed me to a position that no one else can replace, I ask for courage to stand firm in the midst of silent battles. When the enemy uses cunning words, whispers laced with slander, to try and remove me from the place you have assigned, Grant me spiritual discernment so I may not be deceived. Set my feet upon an unshakable rock. Even if people turn their backs on me, even if my allies become few, I choose to remain where you have placed me. For I know that my position is not the result of human favor, but of your divine selection. Teach me to live, not for the approval of people, but for the smile of heaven. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. If you love the Lord, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of the life-giving messages from Him. Together, we will grow in faith and live a life made whole in His love. Amen.